Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today is a very, very special day. I've got a very special guest over at the house, and I've got a few guys who've come over to hang out with me today. This guy right here being one of them. This is Quillen 64. Absolutely amazing car. We'll have him on the channel some point here in the future. But for now, let's go and meet my buddy and our special guest for today. All right, today's special guest is my buddy Max from the Chop. What's up, Max?
What's going on?
How we doing? So we're gonna get set up here on camera and bring you back here in just a second.
Is this in dedication to Jerry Springer?
No. maybe I should, I don't know. All right, so welcome to the channel. This is Billy, Gem City Welding. This is Max from the Chop. He's visiting today from Defiance, Ohio, which is
right here.
Right there. Right there. What is that, northwest?
Northwest Ohio. The NWO.
There you go. So Max is an incredible fabricator, welder, car builder, extraordinaire. But he's been a big inspiration for me on the car, on the channel, and the build. And so we're happy to have him here today. And so first, let's start off by telling us, tell us about your shop, your business, what you got.
You know, it started out as mainly just me being a broke ass dude and not being able to pay somebody to work on my stuff. So it was me just learning it, winging it, being like, yeah, that sounds right in my head. I'll go with that. And looking at little pictures.
That's awesome. And speaking of pictures, I've got some pictures on here that I was wanting to ask you about, and you at home, I'll put those in the corner so you'll be able to see those, what we're talking about. But Max is building a 64 currently, and I'll go ahead and show you the picture, and then you guys will see it at the same time. So can you tell me about this picture?
That was 18-year-old me at my vocational school at 4 County is what it was called. It was in Archbold, Ohio. That was when the first day I brought the 64 home when I was 18 years old.
That's amazing. Was it in pretty good shape when you bought it?
It was decent. Like, it came out of Colorado, and there was some bad body work done to it, and but it was still pretty solid. The only thing I found bad on it was on the frame, and it was a 4-inch crack, and that comes into play later because that was 25 or so years ago.
Wow, that's incredible. And then to piggyback off that, of course, I got your picture here of when. Now, is this when you got it back?
It was a few months after I got it back.
So, can you kind of tell me that story? How did that happen?
Okay, so the guy because I had traded work. He wanted my 64 Impala, and I wanted my Cadillac painted. So at the time, you know, it was late 90s, so you could get a 64 Impala relatively easy.
Right.
You know, and he's like, well, I'll paint your car, you give me that car. And I was just like, all right, let's do it. You know, and like my dad told me I was a big dumbass for doing it. And I was like, nah, Dad, I can always get another. And like, I didn't.
Pops knew, didn't he?
Yeah.
Wow. When you got the car back, what was it like? Was it just like seeing an old friend again? I mean, did it take you back to when you were younger? Or?
Yeah, like, you know, I remember all the times, like, me and my buddies jumping in it, and like, up in Defiance, we had a local cruise spot. Like, we'd cruise up and down downtown, but on Saturdays and Sundays, people would head out to the dam. And the dam, man, you'd have people out there playing volleyball, just cruising, crotch rockets. You'd have people from Indiana, Michigan, you know, Toledo area, just converging there, just to cruise and hang out, you know, see girls and, you know, just chop it up.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Very cool. Yeah, I saw your story on your social media stuff when you were talking about getting the car back, and I was like, that's incredible, because so many people, if they could go back in time and keep that one thing and hang on to, but you're fortunate that you got yours back. That's incredible. Yeah. So Max is building this 64. I think was about a year ago at the USO Lima show. That's when we officially met up. But for you at home, I've been following Max on social media for quite a while, looking at his build, and his quality and his parts is second to none. And as a matter of fact, I've got some pictures here of some parts, and Max does something very unique that I'll be honest, I don't know if I seen this before until I found his social media, but you do some factory appearing uppers for Impalas, correct?
Yes.
Those are insane. The amount of work that goes into that, it's just amazing. So you've produced these parts. Where has some of these parts ended up that you've done?
I built a set for an USO in Minnesota, in Lima, and as of recent, within the past month, Sydney, Australia.
Oh my God, Sydney, Australia. That's incredible, man.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Very cool. Max also has had a set chromed, and that's just insane. I've never seen anything like it. Very nice work, man.
Thanks.
But to go back and talk about a little bit about your frame, so you've done a full wrap on your frame, and do you when you started out doing your wrap, was it just like, I'm going to just do the stress points, or did you already have it in your mind that you were going to do the whole frame from the start?
Like initially, I just got cold and wanted to drop something hot, so I was like, I'm gonna drop. Oh, that was my freestyle too. So I had to start a fire on the streets.
There you go.
Nah, like it started out because I was just gonna put an aircraft setup in it, and my buddy from Fort Wayne. He was like, man, Max, he goes, you already got your 60 Impala and you're putting your aircraft setup in that. He goes, you need to build something hot for the streets. And I was like, man, get out of here. I don't need nothing like that. And then he kept at it, and then I was like, man, maybe there's something to this. And then the frame ended up being a little worse than I thought, so I was like, screw it. I'm gonna wrap the whole thing. I was like, Marcus is right. So I plated the frame front to back, and then I was like planning out my setup, and I was like out with the aircraft and with the 4 pit bulls.
Wow. And that's a great segue. So I actually have a picture of, I believe this is going to be your setup, right?
Yep.
So you are using pit bull components, and I got to be 100% honest. I didn't know this until the other day when somebody commented on it about the air matched plates.
Yeah.
That is sick. Was that your idea, or how did you?
No, like Brent's like did a little something for you, and I was like, oh shit. Can I say that?
Yeah, oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, and like it was just badass, like it's what I wanted without knowing what I wanted.
Gotcha.
Like it's those little things that make the biggest impact, the biggest wow factor.
Yeah. Wow.
And exactly,
Yeah, it's beautiful setup, nice parts. I mean, Brent, his quality is second to none. I mean, just like your stuff, man. Everything you guys do is, to a T, it's perfect. Your business side of things, if somebody wanted to, say, do a whole entire chassis or suspension components, is that something that that you would be interested in doing for folks?
Yeah, I'm down for whatever. You talk to me and we can go from there. I'm presently working with a new friend and juicing his car and building his setup. you know, and kind of schooling him.
Okay.
He's my Padawan.
Okay. What car is that?
Something gay. he had he had like 54s on it.
Oh Jesus.
No, it was it's a Delta 88 Royale.
Okay.
85, super clean car.
Okay.
Like but it's his first lowrider, so I'm like, I want to make it clean and reliable. You know, something that he can always bet on.
Okay. Well, I have to have you send me a picture of it for sure, so I can put her on the channel. That's awesome. So you're down for doing a frame, and you can do control arm and stuff like that. And have you ever done like a full build from the ground up for anyone?
I mean, yes, but it's been for me because, like, up where I live, there's nothing really around. Like, it's kind of, you know, you had Uso and Lima, and we did our own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got my boy over in Fort Wayne at the hotspot, and like he does cars like from around Indiana, and like there was a spot in Toledo, but they closed down like early 2000s.
Okay.
And so there's been nothing really around us. So
okay.
Nobody's, I mean, people hit me up here and there for little things,
Okay.
but
So most of the stuff you do is stuff that you like ship out, that you send out?
yeah, like
Okay.
like I said, like I did those parts for the guy from Australia, you know, a couple things for people in Canada, Texas, Kentucky, California, Las Vegas, you know, I've shipped all over the place,
Man.
you know, parts for people. But as far as like doing builds, you know, plenty of the cars I built have sold to other people. Like I built a 33 Ford pickup one time, a little, for lack of a better term, rat rod, you know, and that ended up in the possession of some professional jet ski rider from Monster.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'd actually sold it to a guy from here in, I'm trying to think where it might be Kettering. I think it was. Zach.
Okay. Wow. I'll have to keep a lookout for that.
No, he sold it to.
Oh,
he
gotcha.
Within the little bit of time he owned it, he sold it to 3 different people.
Oh my
They
God.
sold around.
Wow.
And that ended up in the guy in North Carolina or South Carolina, something like that.
Wow. That's incredible. Well, I tell you, man, when I seen that you were selling parts to Australia, I couldn't believe it because, you know, I can only imagine, like, as a small business owner, to say that I've got parts that are in another country, let alone halfway around the world. That is incredible.
Dude, I'll tell you like this. Like, I tripped out. I'm still tripping out. Like, you know, because first, you know, I get, like he hit me up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, is this real? You know, because I'm like, I'm just me, like in defiance, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I checked with one of my former club brothers from Australia, and I was like, hey man, is this guy legit? Like, is he a real person? He's not like the king of Nigeria or something? And like, he said no, he was a good dude and everything. So, you know, I started talking to him, and he bought the parts off me and everything. And I saw him make a post on Instagram, and like, then I saw it shared by 8X Andy, and I was like,
oh, it's legit, right?
oh my God! I'm like, I built that. I built those arms.
That's wild, man. Well, that's incredibly awesome, man, and something to be proud of for sure. Because I don't know anybody that's got anything in Australia. You know what I mean?
It's a trip, like
That's awesome.
big time.
Hell yeah. And then briefly, I was going to touch on your.
Whoa!
Yeah. Hold on. This is family friendly here, okay? Do you want to give a shout out for your social media stuff? How does somebody find you? If I want to buy a set of the Chop arms, how do I find those? How do I do that?
I guess you can go to my Instagram or my Facebook, My Facebook's under my government name. It's Maximino de Leon. And my Instagram, I think, is Cabron666.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. I'll put a link in the video for both of those so you can look Max up and check him out for his parts. Again, amazing stuff, and you know, being an Ohio guy, I'm in Dayton, so there's quite a bit of distance between the two of us. But you know, hit Max up. He's a great guy, and get you some parts. So I've got some questions for you.
Yep.
Okay, other than the general stuff.
It's the hot seat.
Oh yeah. So, just 10 questions, super easy. Okay. First one: favorite lowrider ever.
1960 Chevrolet Impala.
Okay, awesome. Any specific one, or just that year in general?
Oh, like
Is there one did somebody build one or something, or that sticks out?
there's quite a few of them. Like I like the one that Mr. Cartoon did. You know, like
Oh yeah.
like, you know, I like mostly pure traditional stuff, but like that one, I mean, the color combo, just it was just gorgeous.
Mm.
Like I could not
Hell yeah.
stop looking.
That's awesome. That's cool. Yeah, I love those too. And I remember seeing that very car in a commercial. I can't remember what he did, what company it was for. It might have been like Modelo or something.
Yeah.
Second question: Dayton's or Zeniths?
Dayton's.
Dayton's all the way.
Ohio, baby.
That's right. Hip hop or oldies?
Both.
Both. Okay. Okay. Now on the hip
And I'll throw in, I listen to a lot of punk, you know, just old school metal.
Okay.
Like, just stuff like that.
Now when you're doing
Old
like
school country.
really.
Yeah, like me and my dad, we cruise around because my dad was a truck driver, you know.
Okay.
So we cruise around in my old Cadillac, and like we get some looks because we'd be bumping either like corridos, like Mexican music,
Okay.
or like some old school Johnny Cash or Hank Williams Sr. You know, that was the stuff I grew up on.
Hell yeah.
You know,
When you when the hood goes down, is there a certain music that you like to listen to, or do you just kind of mix it up?
depends on what I'm working on.
Okay.
Like, if you know, if I'm working on my car or building parts, I like to hear some West Coast rap, you know,
Okay.
because it puts me in that mindset
Mhm.
where this is what I want to work on, this is what I want to build, you know, and you know, if I'm getting like aggression out, then you know I'll listen to some old school punk. Like it's just
Mm.
you know.
Right. I could totally understand, because sometimes like when I'm out here, if I'm working on this, or if if I'm doing a customer job for somebody, whatever it may be, like the other day I was playing Limp Bizkit. I haven't listened to Limp Bizkit in forever, and I put their first album on, and I'm like, man, I forgot how good this is, right? It gets you in that mood. So I totally understand that. All right, next question, number 4: hardtop or convertible?
See,
Some of these are tough, man.
would I take a convertible? Yes.
Mhm.
I wouldn't turn it down. I would not turn it down. But for me, I love a 2-door hardtop. You know, like currently mine, I have a 2-door hardtop. I blew the brains out. You know, my boy Brett came from New York and helped me put in a 44-inch moonroof in it. And I live in Ohio, so like weather's not always perfect.
Mhm.
So it's nice to have a roof that I'm not gonna be like, oh damn.
Right. Yeah. It's crazy thinking about it, because like between the hardtop and the convertible, because I remember being like 14 or 15, dreaming of these cars, and I would get like the Auto Trader that had like a little picture of a car, and it seemed like every other one was a convertible, and I was like, man, I don't want a convertible. You know, who wants those? And I've heard other people say it, like Tweet said it on the King of Chevys, that you back then you couldn't give a convertible away.
Yeah, like it's weird.
But now, you know, that I've gotten older, man, I'd sure like to have a 59 rag, just like everybody else. But
Yeah, like
it's just
I think, So I'll say 60 Impala or a 56 Bel Air.
Okay.
And the 56 Bel Air, I would take in convertible.
Okay. Hell yeah. All right. Question 5: Chrome or gold?
Chrome.
Chrome all the way.
Yes.
What do you think about the trend of rose gold? The new.
I dig it. Like it's not me, but I dig it. Like it looks classy. Like our boy Josh from Working Class, he has those rose gold truce on his Impala. Man, it's it. Like he doesn't think much of his car, but
see that car's
oh,
sick.
dude,
It's so clean.
I love it.
If I can find a picture, I'll put it on here. It's insane.
Like when I went to his pad, like I sat on the step and just stared at it. Like I'm like, dude, I could do this all day.
It's amazing.
It's kind of like this. I could stare at this all day. This guy is kind of like weird and nervous about how it looks, but these welds are damn good.
Thank you.
I can say mine didn't come out as clean, and I can see why he wants to leave it raw like this. Not raw, but unpainted, just not grind down the welds.
All right. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that, man. And forgive me, his name was Josh?
Yes.
Shout out, Josh. If I can find a picture, bro, I'm going to put you up on the video here. Number 6, radials or 520s?
Radials. I don't live in Cali.
I always say I don't have the 520 money, right? Because that's
that and I got into it with the people at Premium Sportway, and I told them, I'm like, I don't live out there. Like I live in the Midwest, and for real, like I gotta travel an hour or more to get to a show.
Right.
I don't have a badass show like 5 minutes away.
Right.
And it's a radio's gonna last me longer than a 520. And when I told him that, because at first he was trying to get me to sell it, to get a set of 520s, and then when I told him about traveling, he was like, stick with the radials. And he'll probably deny it, but
right.
He legit told me that. So it's like, if the dude from the company can't even back it.
That's a good point. I'm trying to remember, they're 520s from Coker. They're like 3 something a piece, aren't they?
I mean, they look good as hell.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, but I have a car trailer and stuff, but I like to drive my car.
Sure, right. Yep. And then there was a bad batch of them for a while, I guess. Guys were having trouble and rolling cars and scary stuff. Now this is a little off topic here, but auto dark or non-auto dark for your welding helmet?
Auto dark.
Auto dark?
Yeah.
Have you tried the other one?
Yeah, it's been a hot minute, and I had to weld at a buddy's house, and I felt so stupid. I put my lid down and I'm like, why isn't it clearing up? I was like, what? And I sat there for a good minute, and then it dawned on me. I was like, I feel so dumb.
Yeah, I had to sneak a welding question there because when I do my welding classes at home, I have some guys that'll bring non-auto dark that they've bought off Marketplace or something, and they'll put it on and they're like, well, I can't see a damn thing. Why ain't this thing clear? And it's like, well, you got the, and so trying to get people used to that, but that's a whole nother ball game.
Yeah.
Let's see. Favorite movie, TV show, or music video car?
Back to the Future, 1982 DeLorean.
That's what I'm talking about. Hell yeah.
My girl makes fun of me all the time. She says I'm a big nerd, but hey.
Yep.
I love a DeLorean.
I mean, that was our generation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If I'd have known what I know now 20 years ago, I'd have bought one of them. Damn
Oh,
things.
yeah.
Because now they're over 100,000, I think.
Yeah, you get me DeLorean, a 69 Charger, the 18 van.
Kit.
Kit. It's on.
Right. All right. So, is cereal a type of soup?
I never thought of that, and I can see it. I can legit see it. It's kind of like Die Hard, Christmas movie, or not. I say yes.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I had to throw you a curveball there a little bit. All right, last question, and a very important one. Should pineapple be on a pizza?
So, I had this old man I used to work with. The guy was named Ronnie Dean. He was a great old bird, and he always would tell me, "God damn it, you don't put fucking pineapple on fucking pizza." Like, cause I guess he used to own a pizza place back in the day, and like he'd blow a gasket like if you'd say that, and I was like, "But it's good," and I'm like, "Is it one of my favorite toppings?" No. You know, pepperoni, mushroom, onion. Pepperoni, mushroom, feta. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, but like,
I love it. I love pineapple on pizza.
yeah, it's good. I can't lie.
My kids can't stand it, but I love it.
It's good.
How did you get into lowriding? What brought that on?
So, I'd always remembered seeing like the Jerk, and I mean
I forgot about that.
Yeah, like the Jerk,
Okay.
and like Corvette Summer, and there was one with Michael J. Fox. I can't think of what I think it was like Scavenger Hunt or something like that. I think I'm referring to the right movie, but there was lowriders in it, you know, and I didn't think much of it as a kid, and then it was the summer of '92, and a little album called The Chronic had dropped, and like I always remember my brother listening to like NWA and stuff, and like, you know, I'd hear Eazy-E talk about it, but you didn't necessarily see it out here in the Midwest until one day I got home from school, and Ain't Nothing But a G Thing came on, and my dad happened to be home off the road because my dad was a truck driver, and all of a sudden I was like, "Dad, what the hell is that?" And he's like, "Oh, that's an Impala." I was like, "I want to do that. I want that." And like, he goes, "Get a job."
Great advice.
Yeah, so young Max started working.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. That actually kind of segues into the next question I had was, do you have any advice for someone who's new to welding or someone who's new to becoming a shop owner? As someone who does exactly that very thing.
Like as far as what? Like,
Well, like for the welding, I mean, like, was that a career path for you? Is that something that you sought out, or was it just a thing to help fill the gap for your hobbies that you wanted to do for your lowriding?
it actually was a skill set I went to learn because I started out with lowrider bikes.
Okay.
So I wanted a lowrider bike, and there was no, like, the people around here didn't know what that was. So at least where I live in Northwest Ohio, and I kind of had the gist of it, and so I talked to my shop teacher at the time, and he was like, "Bring it in," and he started showing me, you know, MIG welding and brazing and everything, and I kind of went from there, you know, and I hear a lot like that they don't offer those classes no more, and it's kind of sad, you know, because not everybody's going to be, you know, an IT tech or, you know, head of corporate whatevers. You know, some of us are, for lack of a better term, dirt balls, welders, roofers, skilled labor. You know, it's good to learn a trade because you can always fall back on that. You can go for, you know, IT, but, you know, if whatever higher power you believe in doesn't lead you to that path, hey, you got something to fall back on, you know. And believe it or not, kids, it pays well. You
Yes,
know,
it does.
even being a garbage man pays well.
Right.
You know, so don't dog people for what they do, because you just need to ask yourself, well, what do you do? You know, get out there and work. It don't matter what you do, as long as you're working, trying to better yourself. That's my what do you call it? Like the shows, like they used to have them on TV. One to grow on.
Oh, well, that's a great answer, and you're exactly right, because those professions, you know, are at some point we have to have somebody fill the shoes of guys like us, and it's like, you know, for a long time when they pulled shop classes out of high school, because that was what spoke to me, like a junior high, metal shop, wood shop. I loved it. I wasn't meant to sit behind a desk.
Yeah, I took every form of industrial arts we had, and when we didn't have any more classes, all that was left was like crafts. And my shop teacher walked in and asked me what I was doing in there, and I was like, "Hey, we're out of industrial arts classes. I can't do no more." Nope, come on. So he yanked me out of there and signed me up as his shop helper.
Oh, wow.
And you know, so that's what I did.
Wow, that's pretty cool, man.
He made fun of me at first, but
I tell you, you're 100% on the money though about it taking care of you and your family, because, like, you know, you have your story, and like, say, a guy that Ruth might have his story, and of course mine, you know, with my career paths and things I've done. But I tell you, I wouldn't change it for nothing. I mean, because, like, at one time, like, I worked for GM here in Dayton, so I, like, 99, 2000, 2001, dude, I had it made. Like, I really thought I had it made, and then by the time we hit 08 and the crash and everything happened, and the plant I worked in closed, and that was like 30-some-hundred people lost their jobs like that, and they said, you can either transfer to a new site, or we can pay for you to go to school. And I said, that's it, I'm going to go to school, and I'm going to get a degree in welding or some kind of welding. That way I can take care of my family, and I don't have to worry about a company taking care of me ever. All I got to do is worry about my hands taking care of me, right?
Yeah.
And it hasn't let me down. So keep that in mind, you young folks that watch the show. Yeah. And then last, what was your first car?
My 64 Chevy Impala.
No shit. Damn, that's a hell of a first car.
Yeah. And, you know, like, well, no, technically it was a 62 Bel Air.
Pretty good.
My folks said, you come up with half the money and we'll give you the other half.
Okay.
And I did that, and I bought the 62, and I ended up selling it, and then I come across the 64 because my brother's buddy told us about it.
Okay.
And so I raised the money to buy that, and I went and got it.
Nice. Man, that's incredible. All right, so bonus question. This is for you, actually, for me. You can ask me a question, anything you want. Anything you can think of. You family friendly for the channel.
What made you want to step back into this?
Oh boy, that's a great question. I'll try and keep it as short and sweet as I can. So, my kids, my daughter's 18 and my son's 13, and so they're growing up, and they've kind of, you know, seen, like, I got my Malibu. It's been on the channel. You guys have seen it, but my kids didn't know that before them, I had this whole entire life of car stuff that they had no idea about, and showing them that side of me from when I was younger really, like, they'd step back for a second, and they're like, holy crap, you were actually pretty cool once, you know? And so, like, I've said on the channel, my good friend Dean Carnes, when he moved on to the racing scene, he sold me the Bronco and he sold me his Ranger, and I did that for a little while, and then got married and had a family. And like most guys that do that, your money's not the best all the time, and your priorities change. But now fast forward almost, gosh, it's been about 19, almost 20 years. I said, you know what, it's time to do it. I want to show them what this is about, what it's like, and show them the culture. That's the big thing, because like growing up here in the Midwest, if it wasn't for Lowrider Magazine, I don't really know that I would have known about that side of that culture.
Yeah.
So exposing them to that, showing them, music, food, the atmosphere, the clothing, everything that goes along with it, the lifestyle, that's kind of what pulled me back into it after all these years. So, and that's why I pulled the trigger on this and going for it. So yeah, that would be my story there. So hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah.
So that's it for all the questions. I want to thank you for taking time to be on the channel. First interview for the channel, so hopefully there'll be more to come. I've got some guys that's going to be on the channel eventually. It's just a timing thing, but you're the first, so thank you very much. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Welcome.
And then before we bounce out here, a quick shout out to let's see, the Lifted, Lowered, and Confused podcast. Shout out to you guys. I love your podcast. John B from YouTube, Mike Solis from YouTube, Harrison 1213, and 402 Impala. Keep pushing on that project, and thank you for commenting on the videos. So until then, we'll see you next time. Take care.